All right. We are on. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in for a treat. We are back with a new episode of Random Ass Conversations with Dion Lack. Yeah, we are here with a very special, very special guest right now. We have none other than the lacking historian, the matriarch of the family, the glue.
Matriarch.
I don't know if I used that word correctly. Patriarch. Okay.
Historian.
I don't
Look, I
know.
gotta look down here and look. Matriarch.
Wait, I said it with confidence. Patriarch.
Wow.
Of the family, none other than. Are you going by James or Jimmy? Which one are you doing today?
You can call me Jimmy.
Jimmy Lacking. It's
But y'all call me James, though.
It's 19 James Lackings in the family, so you got to know.
With no S on the end.
No S on the end. We're gonna have to talk about that too, okay? Or is that too much?
No. Let her rip.
You gotta get closer to the mic,
Oh, okay.
or just talk direct, like see where I am right there, or pull it closer to you.
How do you lift this up?
Just pull it, pick it up, or
Oh, okay. There we go. Like that?
Yeah.
All
so
right.
You
Can you
that.
hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, but I didn't want it to be distant.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So you in town?
Yes, sir.
We don't know when this is going to be posted, 'cause we don't know when people are going to know if they're going to see you in town or not. But yeah, born and raised in Los Angeles?
Born in Dayton, Ohio, raised in Los Angeles.
Okay, when did this happen?
The year I was born?
Well, if you're uncomfortable about that.
I'm cool with it. I was born in 1963, January
1963.
Right.
And how long do you stay in Dayton?
We lived in Dayton until 75.
Uh-huh.
And then we moved to Los Angeles. I was in the end of the 6th grade. Started the 7th grade that September. And lived here until 97.
So would you consider yourself a Dayton or L.A. person?
I consider myself an L.A. person, but there's some family members who, I guess they're haters. They don't like to hear that. Like, you ain't grew up in L.A. You grew up in Dayton. But hey, I did my dirt 12 on up, so that's where I grew up.
Yeah. So if you would you come back?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. I want to come back.
Yeah.
It's just, right now things is just not working in that direction, but I really do miss Los Angeles.
Yeah.
A lot of people say a lot of bad things about LA,
Mm-hmm.
but this is my home. My friends are here, my classmates are here.
Yeah.
This is my home.
Yeah, I didn't know if you was like, yeah, it was good when I was young, but I need to retire in Dayton.
No, that's not how that went down.
Isn't that
at all.
Okay.
That's not how that went down at all.
Because a lot of people don't. It's not their cup of tea. They like, I'm here for work only, but I want to raise my kids and escape to a smaller Springfield, Lancaster area.
You're kind of on to something there because in '97. Larry, my son Larry, he was getting into a lot of trouble here. He was in junior high school. You guys are actually the same age. He was getting in a lot of trouble in junior high. So I felt, well, maybe I need to get him out of the city. So, at first I was going to go to Columbus, but I saw our grandmother, and she wasn't looking too well. So I said, well, maybe I'll just stay in Dayton to be close to her. So that's why I chose Dayton, Ohio. If I had to do it all over again, I probably would have still gotten him out of that situation, but I never really wanted to leave LA. Really, I didn't. I actually had to pray on it, and I had to say, well, God was steering me to get out of this place that I'm so comfortable in. I was very, very comfortable here in Los Angeles. I mean, I had some skeletons and dirt in my closet too, and I chalk that up as, well, maybe it's God trying to get me out of that situation too. It wasn't like nobody was after me or nothing. It was just that, the life that I was living, I was a little on the wild side. But my primary concern was Larry. He needed to be in a slower environment. Now, did that work the way I thought it was going to work out? No, it didn't. We would have been better off staying here, but still, though,
Yeah, all right. So, for those who don't know, your mother is Rutha Roach.
Yes, Rutha, Lacking, Clover, Roach.
Oh, we could do all of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was born Rutha Lacking.
Okay.
Then she married Donald Clover, who was my dad, not my biological dad, but he was the dad that raised me, my sister's dad.
Yep.
And then she married Charles Roach. There's a story there too. Yeah. Those who know me, they know about the story about Charles.
Oh,
but
boy.
yeah. He was the one that was around from 11 to graduation.
Okay, well, hold on. So when did Clover? So he was from 1 to 11. Oh, I can't say that because they got married when he was 12.
They got married when I was a year old,
and
then they were divorced. They were married 7 years.
I just found out you are younger than Duchess.
No, I'm not. I'm older than Duchess.
So why you say it's your so who's your
my father? My biological father's name is Harold Reese.
Oh,
he is Dee Dee's and them father's brother.
Oh.
So me and Dee Dee and Leslie and Linda are double cousins.
Wow.
Our mothers are sisters and our fathers are brothers.
Wow.
Right. Boom.
Didn't know that at all.
Just dropped the bomb.
So when you said that I was raised by my sister's father. I thought that, it was Duchess was older and then you came around because of, okay.
No, she's 40. I remember the day that they brought her home from the hospital.
Oh.
Because when they brought her home from the hospital, I looked at Mama and I looked at Daddy because I call him Daddy to this day.
Yeah.
I looked at him. I said, "Okay, when y'all taking her back?"
That's funny. I'm tired. How many years y'all apart?
4 years, 2 months, and 3 days.
Yeah, that's how me and my daughters are. So did you go off to college before she made it to high school?
I went to the military.
Oh.
See, I left Los Angeles in 1981. Mm-hmm. And I went to the military, and when I got out, she was a senior.
Okay.
In high school. Yeah.
Yeah. That's starting to feel like my daughter's. Well, Kaylee went to school early, so Cadence feels like Kaylee has left her. I always want to know if Duchess felt the same way.
She probably did. Yeah. Our relationship was probably a little different because it's a boy and a girl versus two girls. I was big brother. Mm-hmm. I had to take her with me a lot, especially in Dayton. Mm-hmm. I had to take her with me everywhere, even over in Baby's house when she had all boys. Mm-hmm. So it was me and the boys, and she had to come too. Mm-hmm. So it was rules that we had. Keep your mouth shut. Don't tell what you see. If you do, you getting it. Mm-hmm. So she was never a snitch.
Yeah. So how far do you go back when it comes to our family? As in, like I tap out with great grandma, grandpa. Like, how far do you?
I can go back to our great grandmother. There's a little confusion on whether they were siblings or cousins of hers. Mm-hmm. But as far as on our grandmother's side of the family, as far as our great grandmother, her name was Hannah Martin, and then she married Peter Eubanks, so she became Hannah Eubanks. And somewhere along the line, it was either her sister or her niece. Do you know Aunt Hansa Lee?
Nope. Maybe by face.
She's the one that just had the 100th birthday party.
Okay.
Well, her husband, Uncle L.C., and our grandmother are cousins. Mm-hmm. So our grandmother married Aunt Hansa Lee's brother. So we're related that way.
Double related.
But our grandmother was already related to Aunt Hansa Lee's husband, Uncle L.C., because they're cousins. Mm. And then, have you ever heard of Charlotte and them? Charlotte and Hancy and them? Okay. Their mother, her name was Eula T. Her grandmother and our great-grandmother were sisters. So there was a double relationship there also. Wow. So there's some double cousins.
Right.
That would be like twice removed or however that stuff goes. Yeah. As far as on mother's side of family. Mm-hmm. Now, on mother's father's side of the family, I don't know much about him. I just know that he was tall, he was dark.
You remember him?
No, he died before I was born.
Oh, you said okay. You said like
because they described him.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, he was. That's where they get the height from because he was like 6'5" or something like that. He was a giant, And all of the boys, all of mother's brothers were all over 6'2". Wow. Every last one of them. Wow. And mother and Aunt Hazel, mother was 5'11", and Aunt Hazel was 6 feet. So the girls were tall, but they were tall for women back in those days. Aunt Boots was kind of tall, and so was Aunt Fanny and their sister Aunt Sis. They were all tall. Now, as far as the Lacking side of the family, which is our grandfather, James Lacking, that's where your dad gets his name from, and where I get my middle name from.
Wait, my grandfather's name was James Lacking?
His name was James Woodrow Lacking. He was born June 2nd, 1917.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
James
So
crazy.
he was the second of, I think, 6, 7 kids, something like that. I'll name them off in a minute. But that side of the family, the Lacking side of the family, I want to say it was 2 greats going from our parents. So like not their great grandfather, but their great great grandfather was the one who was a Bates. His slave name was Bates. And he murdered his slave owner. I don't want to call him a master.
Yeah.
But the slave owner. He murdered the slave owner and he escaped. There's some dispute on where he escaped to. I'm just going to go by what I was told by our grandparents. That he escaped to what is now Louisiana. And he changed his name. He changed his name to Lacking, which of course means to not have, to be without. Now, there's stories floating around saying that he changed his name because he said, you're going to be lacking one nigga, so I'm changing it to Lacking. Yeah. Then there's another story, Butchie tells this one. He said, well, he went up in a hill, up on a mountain, and he looked up to the sky, and he said, Lord, give me a name. And the Lord said, your name is going to be Lacking, because that means to be without. Well, after I heard Butchie tell that story to about 3 or 4 people, I said, you saw that on Roots. That's what Kunta Kinte's daddy said. So I don't know how true that one is. Yeah. But the one that our grandparents told me was that he chose the name because it meant to not have. He didn't know what his African name was. Yeah. Now, recently, one of our cousins in Chicago, Carolyn, the one that was over, her daughter has been doing a lot of research. And they went back 2 greats from us. Wow. I think from us, yeah. And they said that the name was, whatever the name was, the person was born in 1870-something or 60-something. And I said, that might be so, but I don't think that's the one that changed the name. Here's the reason why. Because there was no slaves in 1870, nothing, even in 1860-something. If they were born then, they weren't old enough to kill no master. Right. So they would have to be the parent before them that did that and changed the name. So just to clear that up right there. Yeah. Oh, wow. Why do you know these things? Listening to the old folks. Here's the thing. You know, a lot of my first cousins, the ones that we're all older than you. For you guys don't know, I'm almost 20 years older than him. Yeah. And he's my first cousin. He's my youngest first cousin. My grandparents, particularly my grandmother, they would sit us down when we were children and they would tell stories. Sometimes she would tell Bible stories, but a lot of times she would tell family history, her side of the family and my grandfather's side of the family. There were only a few of us that actually really listened. Me, Rutha, Jeffrey, and that's pretty much it. Butchie probably listened to some too, but the rest of them really didn't listen because they weren't interested in learning this stuff. But the sponge was always me because I didn't just listen to our grandparents, I listened to our parents too. I listened to my mother, my aunts, my uncle. I listened to all of them, even on my grandmother, our grandmother's side, her siblings. They all telling the same stories that pertain to the Eubankses. Or listen to Aunt Hansel Lee and them to tell the stories of the Lacking side of the family. So that's how I get all this stuff. And history was my favorite subject in school. Wow. I loved history. And I was always good with dates and years and things like that, sometimes even months, you know. Hell, I can tell you what happened on March the 1st, 1970. Yeah. You know, it's just stuff like that because if it's significant, I'll remember it. Yeah. So that's how I get it.
It baffles me when anybody, I'm definitely emphasizing on you though. When they can remember dates and birthdays. What is my birthday?
March the 5th, 1982.
Crazy.
You ask me another one.
What is Ryan's birthday?
February the 3rd, 1974.
What is Sophia's birthday?
That's a different generation. But
Oh,
I
so
think hers is March the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that's a different generation. She's not my first cousin, but that's
Dee
different.
Dee.
March 6th, 1968.
Really?
Yes.
You know what's funny? I speak to her a lot. I did not know her birthday was right after mine.
That's why it should be easy to remember. And Boots was March 7th, 1910.
Wow. Yeah. I'm just not great with birthdays. I just like it takes me a while to like even my daughter's birthday. I'd be like, she's born in 2011. Yeah, Cadence. And I was like, my daughter 2006. So it takes a while for me to actually think about it. I don't even know why. Maybe because I'm in a generation that puts everything in my phone, and I try my best. And I try my best not to memorize it.
That like a little bit to do with it.
Like, I know, it's like
we had no choice but to remember.
Right. You was like, notepad. I got it here.
Yeah,
I got it here.
Maps, everything. They
So
all
are you good with if I give you a list of things to do, not a list of things like let's say go to the grocery store.
No.
Get the apples.
No.
Oranges.
No. If you send me to the grocery store, you better give me a list.
Okay.
Now
So
that's different because I might go in there and like say for instance, if you say get some apples, a bag of oranges, get 2 lemons, get some broccoli, get some cereal, milk, eggs, cheese. You rattling all this off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember eggs and cheese.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, okay, there was some fruit too.
Yeah.
And I go down the aisle. I'm like, okay, did he say? He said
how does that happen? Because your memory is incredible, but it's not incredible.
Well, the thing is because even with my own, I don't even write myself a list down to go to the grocery store. I'll just say I'll go down aisle to aisle and I'll see something and it'll trigger. Oh yeah, that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that. Oh yeah, that. But if I'm just going to the store for like say some toothpaste, some eggs, some bacon, and a pack of chicken, because chicken's always gonna be on the list.
On that.
And I get to the store and I get sidetracked. Just that fast. Only thing I remember on that list was chicken. Just from talking about it right now. Chicken's the only thing I really remember.
Right.
You know why? Because it's not really, really important. It's important, but it's not.
Sure.
Yeah.
But why?
It's short term.
What is that called? So
short term.
Short term memory.
Yes.
So, but so if that's the case, if I gave you a list today of items to get from the grocery store, a year from now you remember the list.
Like I said, you missed a key part.
Yeah.
Significance, importance.
As it ain't
important to remember the year from now.
What if it was like, and my dying wish was for Jimmy to get a pack of Skittles, some Now Laters. Yeah,
I would remember that.
Yeah.
Because that's a dying wish. That's something different.
Right.
That's like someone telling me, a family member, that they want to be cremated, and they've expressed this to their children. They've expressed this to their siblings, but they want me to know this just in case and to have their ashes spread over their brother's grave. This was told to me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and I still remember it.
It sounds very specific.
It was very specific. That's what they told me.
But okay, so this actually happened. So has this happened?
No, they're still alive.
Okay. I thought you might say something like, yeah, it happened and they buried him, and now we're beefing together.
No. He's still alive in Chicago. It's a Chicago family member. You guys out there, y'all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you told the right one. Not just me, but one of his sisters, 2 of his sisters also know. Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a problem with the children, but this is one of those just in case things.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
My sister wants hers spread over the Pacific Ocean. It's done.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So what do you want your legacy to be known as? Because like I said, just know that your mom, my aunt, was the glue, and I'm saying this with confidence, was the glue to our family. Because when Aunt Ruth was alive, she was just like you. She knew everyone's birthday. She knew everyone's number. She would call, check on people. And I told you this numerous times, but your mom was so loving. Like I tell the story a lot, but I know you're probably going to trump it because you probably know the actual story. But I'm going to tell you my version. So I don't know if it was a Mother's Day or if it was a mother's actual birthday. But I went reluctantly. I was like, oh God, I gotta spend time with this family I don't know.
I remember that.
And I went over there
Oh shoot.
to mother's house. I don't know what I said. I don't know what holiday it was. And Aunt Rutha, who I've never actually had a conversation with, I seen her maybe like one or two other times. And I look at, she's like, what are you doing? I was like, well, I just graduated from college. And I graduated. I my first year in college, and I'm planning on pursuing acting. And she was like, "Where?" And I was like, "I go to school at Crestview Hills, Kentucky, and Thomas More, Kentucky. Why?" And I was like, "Well, this is where I can afford. I live in Los Angeles, right?" And I was like, in my head, I was like, "I don't know this woman." And I was like, "I didn't know that." She's like, "Yeah, you got to come and stay with me." And I was like, in my head again. Growing up in Dayton, Ohio, having trust issues, I was like, why would you trust me to stay with you? And she's like, yeah, come stay with me. Just buy your ticket and let me know when you're coming in. I'll pick you up. And I was like, Dad, is this woman, she cool? She's like, yeah, she's legit. Mom, would you be fine with this? Like, you grown. Sure, go ahead. And then I gathered up some coins that I had, and I said, hey, Aunt Rutha, I'm coming in August 28th. Is that cool? Yeah, I'll pick you up. and I immediately I was like, I can't believe I'm going to Los Angeles. And I came there. She like day 2. She was like, let's get your driver's license. Let's show you around. Let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, man, everything worked out perfectly to a T. And what I didn't know, I thought I was going to be living in the house. She got, not ironically, but it was like because military moves different. They move like suddenly. Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, I got to get stationed to Mississippi. I think it was Mississippi, right?
She went to, was it Kentucky? No, it
2001.
2001. It was Fort Leonard Wood.
Yeah.
Missouri.
So I'm getting stationed somewhere else. So you're more than welcome to have my back house. You have it to yourself. And all I'm asking you to do is pay utilities. I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, God, like this is gravy. And when I say like after that point, I realized that she moved so like, hey, family reunion this year. We're going to here. We're flying to Dayton. We're LA. Like she had everyone in sync, and everyone respected her, and she was the queen. Even though mother was still alive, she was the queen of our family. Of like everyone, hey Rutha, this is happening with so and so. What should I do? She's like, I got an answer for you. So she was great, man. And I tell this people all the time. It was the same with my mom, my actual mom. She was the glue to our family. And when I say, as soon as when did your mom pass?
2014.
2014. As soon as the two of them passed, because that was a little bit further than that, because she started to kind of like slowly kind of be quiet, like Aunt Rutha, because she wasn't as.
It was that same year. It just went fast.
Right. Yeah. So I won't say immediately afterward, but as soon as like our family started to kind of like kind of spread apart, because she wasn't so active, like pulling people. Hey, we're doing this. And so when my mom passed in 2008, like no more family reunions, no more gatherings, no more dinners at so and so's house, and like it was kind of like all whoever wants to be in a relationship, you got to figure it out, because after 2008, man, my mother's side of my family just deteriorated, and then I immediately kind of gravitated to my father's side.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. And from there, people kept saying I betrayed my mother's side. I was like,
it's not a betrayal,
right? I just really gravitated to
the
family.
Yeah,
because like a lot of people don't know this, man, but I technically was an only child. Like, not really. I had my brothers on my father's side, my sisters on my father's side, but I grew up with my brother, who was 11 years older than me and in and out of jail. Mm-hmm. So I rarely saw him. And by the time I realized I was a human, he was already
he was
already gone.
Yeah.
And in and out of the house and on drugs and in and out of jail, and just constantly giving my mother heartache. So growing up, I never had a bonding
Family
like in
unit.
the house. So when I had family reunions, it was exciting. Like, oh, I get to see my cousins. I get to see my family. My mom would always pull me away to say, we're going to Uncle Roger's house. We're going to Aunt Mickey's house. We're going to Aunt Teresa's house. So that was our family. And when I got introduced to my father's side, do you remember year?
Well, I remember you in '92. The first time I remember seeing you was over in Gene's house. It was
Right.
around the holidays,
Yep.
like Thanksgiving or something. I believe it was probably, it had to be 91 or 92. Then I remember you at Triangle Park when we had the little thing in the summer of '92. One of those two was the first time I saw you. I forget which year it was, because that's when I had that perm. I had that wild hair then. So you were probably about 10 years old.
Yep.
9 or 10 years old.
Yep. And so people always ask me this all the time. Did you feel neglected because you didn't have a father in your life the first 10 years of your life? I didn't. You know why? Because no one in my neighborhood had fathers. So it was totally normal.
Right.
Sad, but it was totally normal that these black young kids didn't have fathers. So
You didn't feel left out.
I didn't feel left out at all. So when I actually had received the news that I have a father in my life, I was kind of like, all right, well, cool. But it was also a lot for a 10-year-old because I'm meeting a new man that I never met, creating a relationship I'm trying to figure out. I didn't have a template of what we supposed to do as fathers or, son. And so I'm just kind of like going along with what's happening. Then he's married to a woman, Rhonda, who has another family.
Right.
The very first experience I had with my father was at a wedding of Rhonda's sister.
Sue?
I don't remember her name.
I think her name is Sue.
Yeah. And so it was like, hey, I'm your stepmother. We're going to a wedding. Do you have a suit? I was like, yes, I have a suit. I had just went to a wedding. I was just part of the wedding, so I wore this tuxedo I had on. And I went there. This is your cousin so-and-so, but it's Rhonda's family. So I'm like, this is your cousin so-and-so. This is your cousin sister. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Right. So now I'm like, I don't know who these people are.
You're overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. And after that wedding, we went to like a lacking gathering of, hey, so this is your cousin. I was like, oh my God, this is overwhelming. And in my head, I was like, Mom,
and they were wild on that lacking.
I don't like this, Mom. It's way like there's too much pressure to remember these people's names.
Yeah, it's stressful.
Yeah,
it's stressful.
And then what my mom messed up at, and this is a message for anybody who has separate households. Don't use your father or mother as a punishment. Don't say, if you don't do this, I'm gonna call your daddy. If you do this, I'm gonna call your mom. If you don't cut this grass, I'm gonna call your daddy. My mom kept using my dad as an ultimatum, a threat. And that's not cool because he was always kind of like, okay, I'll come over and whoop him, or I come and pick him up from school, or okay, I'll pick him up for the weekend, and that became like a punishment. So I never really tried to get a relationship with my father until like I became like a late teenager. All that to say is James Lacking definitely changed my perspective on patience.
You're talking about your father, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's why I look like you're talking about your dad.
Yeah. He taught me a lot of patience I used to drive around with him this is him trying to bond with me, because now looking about it, it's kind of cute. It's kind of cute trying to let me figure out this thing with this little young boy that just came out of nowhere. We would go in a tow truck. He'd give me some Lee's Famous Recipes. And we would just sit in the truck and wait for cars to call him to get picked up. He was really trying to figure it out, and I was like, why are we here? Why are we doing this? And he just asked random questions. You have any girlfriends? Just asking random questions. What's your favorite color?
He's trying to get to know
to know me. And I didn't have the patience. I was like, I said, I want to go back home.
Little brat. This little brat.
I'm just like, why are we doing this? Like,
Right. Well, you didn't understand.
I didn't know.
You didn't understand.
I did not know, and that was his way of trying to bond with me,
Right.
and we were trying to figure it out. It was trying to figure it out, and a lot of I think a lot of the times it was really trying to like, he didn't ask to be here, he didn't ask to be a part of this, but let me try to figure it out. And it was kind of cute to see this very alpha masculine man who was probably a changed man from his past, and you know something that Rhonda told me, like, because at that time, my father was getting heavy in the church at the time, right? With Turner Road Church.
Turner Road, yeah.
And I'm not taking this like a sad thing, but she was like, when we got the news, this is Rhonda saying this, right? A month before she died. She's like, because I talked to her on Mother's Day. She's like, I know I never told you this, but at that time, me and your father was at our height of our relationship, and we got the news that you came around, and this is the time when your father was heavy in the church, and he was a deacon, he was, respected, he changed his life from being a womanizer and all this stuff, and here you come saying that I am, you are my son. You are his son.
Product of a relationship.
Right. And it's like, it looks uncomfortable. And he was trying his best to try to like shun it. Like, I can't take this on. A lot of good things are going on. She's like, James, this is 10 years ago. You are a totally different person. You got to take on this responsibility. And he was like, she said, neglect. Like I really had to talk him into like, it's not going to affect our relationship. This was not during our marriage. Like, you're different. Like, you've changed. And she was like, I had to talk him into it. It's like, but just know that he was really like trying to think of how can I get out of this. And I was like, oh.
Well.
You got a different story?
No, I mean, that's the first I've heard of that.
Yeah.
And my thing is this. Me and your dad, we used to talk very candidly about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. Not saying it's not true.
Right.
I kind of remember it a little differently. And one thing I will say that I do agree with is that he was changing. He was into the church. Now, he wasn't one of these holier than thou, holy rollers like Jeffrey, but he was changing his life. He wasn't really like, he was in the 70s. That was a different Uncle James back then.
Yeah.
But to say that he had to be talked into it, I mean, that was not setting too well with me. It's not really, because I think I had said this to you guys over Ryan's house during the time of his funeral. One thing I knew about my uncle, once he found out he had a child, he was there. Because you got to remember, he learned about Pam maybe 5 or 4 years before he learned about you.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
And you were much younger.
Right.
See, we were grown when he learned about Pam. Wow. And I knew Pam before he did.
Yeah. Wow.
Because we went to school together.
Yeah.
When they sent me to Dayton for a spell. And the way he welcomed Pam in. Now, Pam will probably have her own story to tell, because it's not my story to tell. I just went by the outside looking in. He appeared to be proud to have Pam around, and Shanae was a baby. Shanae was like a newborn.
Yeah.
So that would have been like 87, something like that. So it wasn't and he was married to Rhonda then too. So it wasn't one of those things where, it seemed like it was a chore or something like that. And then when we learned about you, when I learned about you, and I saw the interaction and everything, Uncle James wanted to make sure that I knew who you were, because I didn't know who you were at first. And then they said, that's Uncle James' son. I'm like, oh, you Dion? And so when I saw Uncle James, we were over in Gene's house. And when I saw Uncle James downstairs, I said, Uncle James, is that the boy you was talking about, the one that's upstairs? He said, yeah, that's my son. That's the youngest one. I said, so you got the oldest and the youngest, right? You know, it didn't seem, I wasn't in their relationship.
Right.
I don't know what happened behind closed doors and pillow talk and all that. But it didn't seem to me, it didn't appear to be a chore.
Yeah.
Like he had to be coerced into being a father. I think it was awkward for him because he had grandkids.
Right.
You know, he got a granddaughter. Now I'm playing daddy again.
Right.
And you were older.
Yeah.
And a boy too.
Right.
You know, Pam was one thing, a girl with a child.
Yeah.
But then here's a child, a 10-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old, right? So he had to learn all this stuff. Oh, what do kids talk about today?
Yeah.
What are they interested in today? So it was. I believe it was awkward.
I know it was.
I honestly do not believe that somebody had to tell him I can't see him trying to just. I don't want to be hands up. I don't want to be doing this all over again.
I definitely can say this though, from my mom's perspective and my mom, because people said, I just came across James Lacking. That boy looks dead on Dion. You sure this not your? This is my mom's perspective, because they like, I just came across James Lacking and he looks dead on Dion. You sure this is not him? Like, because the math is not mathing up. Because I don't know if I told you this, but my original father,
but whatever, you told
was
me,
Roger Carter. And you know who Roger Carter is, right?
No, you told me.
Roger Carter and my dad's ex-wife married each other. One of them. He ended up marrying.
Kay.
It had to be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only one that got remarried. The only one that was married.
Yeah, because Roger Carter had a wife, and because of something happened, he ended up marrying Roger Carter's wife. Anyway, so my mom and Roger Carter was together, and when the news came out, like, I think this might be because Dion don't look nothing. Because my first name was Roderick.
I know. Named
after Roger Carter. And they was like, "This is your dad. This is your dad." He's like, "No, they don't even look alike. So look at James. Look at him. Look like this is." So they got this blood test. I remember going in this little white room, and I'm sitting next to my father, and my mom on the other side, and we just took the blood test, and then I seen them like walking the distance, like how we gonna handle this? How we gonna handle this? And it's like we'll figure it out. And then I remember meeting up at the rallies on
Gettysburg or Salem.
It was the one on by the BP. Was it Salem?
Salem.
Yeah, we at the rallies, and then she was like, "So Dion's want to let you know that this man right here is your father." There's no way to easily.
How do you explain that? How do you deliver that type of news to a 9-10-year-old?
Yeah, and then he just like, "Hey, how you doing?" He shook his hand, and then he was like, "We can go over to my house," and we went to the house over in Riverside.
Yeah, where him and Ronald were living at the time. Yeah.
And it was just really awkward. But when
very awkward. I'm sure.
I know, very awkward.
Sure
but I didn't understand. I didn't. This was a bonus to me because I want y'all to know this. Like in my neighborhood, Paul Lawrence Dunbar, my mom was the wealthy house. We had the biggest house. We had the nicest house. We had all the advanced. We had the top of the line, state of the art stuff in the basement, brand new privacy fence. We were already the perks of the neighborhood. But again, nobody in the neighborhood had fathers. So I was already the sought out person of the neighborhood. So when people was like, "Hey, I got a father now." What? So
Can you imagine that? Wow.
So all of a sudden it was like
giving us black guys a bad rap.
Right. Yeah, I mean I'm not proud of it, but I'm proud of it.
But it's the truth.
It's the truth.
And that was common.
Right.
Even in my time.
Mm-hmm. And then I was like, "Yeah, I got me a dad now. I got me a dad." But what was wild was Roger Carter, even though I was born and raised with him, I don't remember any interaction with him. What was wild, as soon as James Lacking, my actual father, came in my life, Roger Carter just tapped out. I don't remember anything else after that encounter. I don't remember him.
Now, why do you think that was?
I don't know.
I think it was probably because
He never knew, or he.
he probably always knew, or maybe he felt like, well, I'm not going to invest anymore in this kid because he's not mine.
Mm-hmm. And my dad had already married his wife earlier, so he was like, I can't win with this dude. First he took my wife, now he's taking my actual son. So
Is he still alive?
No, he died like in 88.
Oh, wow.
No, like 98. 98. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
98. Yeah, because the story is like Roger Carter had a wife. My dad ended up getting with his wife somehow and marrying her. So he met my mom like that.
Right, because Uncle James was married to Kay in 79 or 80, and he married her again. He married her twice.
Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, man. What people always ask me all the time is, do you have daddy issues? I was like, you know what? Like I understand my father. I know he did the best he can with who he was. I don't have any regrets, and when it comes to like, I don't know. I thank God that from what I see from people on the outside, like having like daddy issues, like he wasn't there for me, you didn't want me. I never felt that my father. I really felt like he really did the best he could, and I can't really like hate or I don't have any like
ill feelings
at all.
Well, you know what, cuz I would say this. Hold on to that. Hold on to that, what you feel. Because what you're feeling is actuality, is the truth.
Yeah.
Your father did love you. Once he learned that you were his child, he was all in. It was a process.
Right.
It wasn't, some people, they want you to be quick with it. Hurry up. He was on his own pace.
Yeah.
Because he had the process. It was a process. You got to remember at that time, Uncle James, that was what, 90-something? He was like 50. Right. He was about 50 years old.
He had me at 44.
Okay, so he was about 40-something years old. He was close to 50 years old, so that's a life-changing experience to have a well-made son come.
Right.
He's already,
Right.
he's in school already.
Yeah.
So the love that I saw, and you pointed out something, your teenage years. By that time, he had it down. He had it down by then. So all he showed you during that time, from what I could see, was love. The best, like you said, the best he knew how, the best that he could. But here's the great part about it. He showcased you with pride.
Yeah.
This is my son.
Right.
So with that validation right there comes the rest of the family.
Yeah.
Everybody, they want a piece of Dion as evidence of your Aunt Rutha, my mother. And all she had to know was that you was her brother's child.
Yeah, we're good.
She don't need to know nothing else. My mother was about family. Because getting back to your question, my legacy that I would like to leave behind is my love for my family.
Good.
Because that's one thing that I will say that I truly inherited from my mother.
Love it.
Is love for my family. Now I'm a wildcat too. She was loving and forgiving and and I was like, F that MF, right? But I'll cool off. Yeah. And then I'll come on back into the fold, all right, just don't let that shit happen again. But that would be my legacy. My legacy would be I will try to help my family first. Family first. I have some very, very good friends, especially here in Los Angeles. My best friends are here in Los Angeles. I have some friends in Dayton, Ohio too, but my best friends are here. I will do the same for my friends. So when that time comes, my friends will say, well, one thing about James, or those that call me Jimmy, don't tell me you call me Jimmy, they call me James. Some of them call me Harold. One thing I say about him is that he treated me right. I don't backstab. I don't do any of that stuff at all because a man is only as good as his word. I try to keep my word, and if I can't keep it, I'm going to call you and say, hey, look, don't look like that's going to happen. But I'm going to give you that respect. Yeah. So I try to do people the way I want to be treated. Yeah. That's part of my legacy.
Love it.
Another part of the legacy is just more talent-based.
You can sing.
Is the singing, the drawing, the sense of humor. I love to laugh.
Yep.
I love to laugh. But I don't like all comedy though. I really don't, because it's like, all right, all you doing is talking about your genitals. Yeah. But a good, funny comedy where it's like really, I love comedy because I like to laugh.
Love it.
I like to hear people laughing together. I like that because if you remember my mother, she was always laughing.
Big laugh.
We came from, big old belly laugh. We come from a family of laughter. My sister, believe it or not, was silly. She was a goofball.
Right.
Growing up. Now, you got some issues today, sis, but
funny.
but we were a laughing family.
Right.
So that would be my legacy.
Love it.
But getting back to your dad was all those things too.
He was.
Your dad, see, talking about fathers, my biological father was never there for me. Never. The most he ever did for me was pick me up over in Gene's house, take me from Arlington Courts down Decker. There was a Dairy Queen on 3rd and Decker. Bought me a ice cream cone. We rode down 3rd Street to where Edwin C. Moses is now. There used to be a street called Sunrise over there. Turned around, came back to the course, dropped me out. That was it. Ice cream. Yeah. It probably cost 5 cents.
Wow.
That's all he ever did. But here's the thing. At the end of his life, when I was 37 years old, because he was in and out of the pen a lot, I wrote him a letter and I forgave him. See, forgiveness comes with peace of mind also. I forgave my father in a letter I wrote him while he was in the joint in the Texas penitentiary. And I told him I forgave him for abandoning my mother, betraying my grandmother, and neglecting me. And we started corresponding over the years. And, then when he got out, we were calling on the phone. I never called him daddy. I always called him buddy. And towards the end of his life, I would call and make sure, hey, did you take your blood pressure medicine today? Did you do this? And I knew he loved my brother more than he did me. And that's cool because I love my brother too. It's not our fault.
Right.
It's not our fault. But the bottom line is that I knew, because my faith, I knew that God couldn't forgive me if I couldn't forgive my father.
Right.
So in the end, I made sure that I was doing the right thing by him. I just didn't call him daddy. And when he died, there was some underhanded stuff going on with one of his sisters and her daughters until me and my brother stepped in and I was in charge. And I made sure that he had the proper burial. You're not going to just do this without me and my brother. But my sister's father, he stepped in when I was a year old. And, their relationship was, we was always move to Chicago, come back to Dayton, move to Fort Leonard Wood, come back to Dayton. Mom was always going back until she finally said enough in 1971. And they split up. And we were split up for a while. And we all got back together. We lived on Nicholas Road in Joy Apartments. And then Summer Square and then California. But the bottom line is, Daddy, Dutch's father, he was there when I had runny noses. He took me to kindergarten on the first day.
Wow.
He was the one to come up to the school, parent-teacher conferences, Christmases. We had fantastic Christmases growing up. We were the envy of the sisters' children. Wow. I know y'all know that's true because we had wonderful Christmas. I'm not saying y'all didn't have good Christmases too, but we had two parents in the household. And I don't know, some people just seem to have a problem with that. I'm just speaking my own truth. But it's okay because we always shared. Me and my sister always shared. But my mother had a brother, only brother, and baby, and Gene. They all had one brother, your father. Throughout all those years that I just went through, that I just walked y'all through, Uncle James was always there. He was the one constant male in my life and in my male cousins' lives.
Love it.
Before he had any boys. Sandy was always around, but she lived in Florida.
Right.
Well, in Mississippi, then Florida. So she was never in Ohio after we were all born. She was only there like in 56, 57, something like that. But Uncle James would come over with baskets full of fruit around the holidays, and he would give to the sisters for the kids. And now this was an inside joke between Uncle James' mama and me and a few other people. But he said, it was probably around 69, something like that. He said, I can't keep taking these baskets over Jean's house because she keep having too many kids. Because by that time, she had Dee Dee and Ivan, right?
Yeah.
So it was 6 of them by then. And then baby had 3 and mama had 2. So, it was, but he brought my bike over on my 7th birthday. And I had a bike with a steering wheel. It had a sissy pole and a steering wheel. It was a blue bike. And for years, I said, oh, Uncle James got me that bike for Christmas. No, they hid the bike over at Uncle James' house because him and Aunt Ivory, he was married to Aunt Ivory then. They lived around the corner over on Katura. And so he kept the bike over there to hide it from me. And then he had Lacking Lawn and Garden Services where he picked up all of his nephews and we go and cut grass all around Dayton. I got out of that too because I had allergies and I'm over there sneezing. I was like, watch, I bet you I'm gonna get out this. Achoo, achoo. And I'm breaking out. It was real. I'm breaking out high. So he took me home because they didn't have no cell phones then. He must have used the customer's phone. Called my mother. They called her Bolly. Bolly, I'm bringing this boy home. He's sneezing too much. So I had to cut no more grass after that. Right, but Uncle James was always there with that baby's boy because Butchie and Michael, they were something else, especially Butchie. So he used to go over there and have to, whoop some butt. And I know him and Butchie had some problems over the years, but Butchie finally forgave Uncle James because he understood. It wasn't that Uncle James just popped up over there and you just happened to be bad. It's because my aunt was calling him.
Yeah.
She's calling her brother to deal with her badass son.
Yeah.
So that's why Uncle James was coming over there. It wasn't he was being mean. And the same way, when my mother used to go over in Jean's house and clean house over there. Because my mother, like you said, was the one they respected. And mama would go over at baby's house and get with Butchie and them too, but Uncle James was a little different with it because he would come in, bam, just be tearing. I ain't never got a whipping by him. And then it was the comb. He would come out with that comb in his hand and shit. Niggas be, good. They be running, right? But see, my mother kept my hair short, right? I didn't have no big old afro like the rest of them wanted during that time. I didn't get no afro until I was in like the 4th, 5th grade. But Jeffrey had that big old afro and it was nappy as hell. Michael had, Michael hair was really rough, right? Larry and Leslie had the best hair. But anyway, Uncle James, he wanted to make sure that we boys looked presentable. He wanted to make sure that we represented the family, which was the Lacking name. You can't be walking around here looking all busted and stuff, with horrible looking shoes. Take them shoes off of them, Gene. Here, go get them boys some shoes. Or that wasn't no problem in our household, and there wasn't no problem in that baby's household either, So he always wanted to make sure, go take that out, put something else on. It wasn't that he was being mean, because mind you, Ryan wasn't born yet.
Right.
This is before your brother was born. So, he was always good to us. Fast forward, about 20 years, then you come along, and so it's like he's doing all that all over again. He's starting to remember, but it's a different time.
Yeah.
Sitting in the tow truck. One thing he told me, he said, Jimmy, I wanted Ryan and Dion to take over the tow company business. He would always say that. Then one time he said, Jimmy, I don't think they're interested. I said, Uncle James, they probably not. I said, nobody wants to be. I said, I don't want it. Don't be trying to give it to me.
I remember him trying to give me just a little.
Yeah. Because he wanted you guys to take over his business. See, that's the one thing that I could say Uncle James had honest. Because Granddaddy was kind of like that. Uncle James wanted to build his own business and leave it to his offspring, particularly his boys. Because, Uncle James from the old school where he didn't look at girls driving tow trucks.
Sure.
really didn't. I don't even think he looked at girls driving RTA buses.
Right.
I don't think so. His view, because he was old school. His view was, nurses, medical field, attorneys, teachers, but tow truck, basketball players and stuff like that, coaches. His mindset was, maybe he got okay with that later, but back then, his mindset wasn't there. He was looking to leave a legacy behind for his sons.
Right.
You were his last hope. I think he got the inclination from Ryan pretty quickly that Ryan wasn't interested in taking over that tow truck. Yeah. But you were his last hope.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad, he for me, he wasn't a direct person. He would, he likes to beat around the bush.
He hinted a lot.
Yeah, he definitely hints. He definitely, instead of just asking, because I remember I did this weight loss program 2006. 2006, and I lost like 70 pounds from this weight loss program. And they paid for my workouts, paid for my food, and instead of just saying, "Hey, Dion, you're looking good," what are you doing? He was like, he reached out to Denise and my aunt Crystal, and said, "I'm worried about Dion."
That sounds like Uncle James. That sounds like Uncle James.
I'm worried about my son.
Yeah.
He went out to Los Angeles, and I don't think this is healthy. And he's like, no, he's doing a workout program. He said, are you seeing him go through this program? And
that's your daddy.
Right.
That's your daddy.
Are you seeing him go through this program and actually perform
the work?
Right, right. Like, no, he has these little videos and this and this. And then when I finally told him, I was like, hey, Dad, you went to Denise and asked me about my. He's like, I just thought you was on that stuff. I didn't know if you went out there and just went a different direction.
We're gonna keep people's business out of this, but Uncle James, that's how he was.
Yeah,
that's how he was. Because it was one of those things where he was the type of person where he didn't want to flat out insult you.
Right. Of course.
So he figured the safest route would be to ask someone beating around the bush,
who's concerned,
not directly, right?
Who would be
showing
concern?
Right.
Yeah. And I, like I said, I'm very optimistic, and being an adult, I start to understand my father a lot more, and I've always brought it to his attention, as in like, Dad, you don't have to do this. All right, listen, I'm always making fun of him. I'm always making light of the shortcomings of things. I remember it was a time where he was like, I'm proud of you from graduating. I got you next week. All right. I ain't got it right now, but I got you next week. And every single time I'm like, that next week is never coming, is it? Like, I'm always bringing it to him like, hey, you said you was going to buy blah, blah, blah. But he always want to point out that I wrecked his car that he bought for me.
The Monte Carlo?
No. I had a Dodge Shadow that he bought for me for my 16th birthday, and it was 100% my fault. 100% my fault. He got me.
So he would throw that out there.
He always he's like, but every time I give you something, reckon it.
You reckon? You just reckon, boy.
100% my fault. And how gangster my dad was. He got me a car. Let's just say for the sake of easy math, got me a car April 1st. By April 27th, I've already had totaled it, right?
Good God.
Good thing is my dad is a tow truck person, so I didn't have to pay for that. And he towed the car, dropped me off. My dad is a no-nonsense person. Yeah. So I called him on the cell phone. Dad, somebody T-boned me. Someone T-boned me. Where you at? I'm on Stewart and Cornell, whatever. And then he's like, okay, I'm on my way. And got there, immediately when you guilty, you trying to so this is what happened. So, yep. He towed his mug up, put it on the little hooks. I got in the car, I was like, so when I went out there, he did just totally hit me. Yeah, that happens, yeah. All right. So he let me off at the house. I was like, I'm not in trouble, or what's gonna happen? You gonna fix it? He's like, I'm gonna fix it. And then like maybe 3 weeks later, my dad picked me up at my house with my new car. Blue door now, because it was a maroon car with a blue door fixed. Didn't even acknowledge that this is my car. So he picked me up and just kind of driving around like, so you hungry? That's it. This is no longer your car now. This is no longer your car. But I was going to let you know I fixed it.
And I got you.
This ain't your car no more, okay? Mm-hmm. But I want to pick you up and to let you know that this is the last time you're going to see this car. Mm-hmm. And then he driving around. I'm looking like.
Nah.
I'm looking around like, everything here looks so great. Right. He cleaned it up.
Back.
Yeah, I want it back. And I couldn't ask him. I mean, I could have asked him, but he was like, so we're going to eat. We're going to go blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking like, so are you going to give it back to me? And then he just sold it the next week. Like, I fixed it and I sold it. He was
I'm
like,
going to make some money off of this bad boy. Right.
You don't deserve this.
Lesson learned.
Yes, 100%. And again, I'm always bringing it up to him. I was like, you were cold-blooded for that. I was like, yeah, I wanted to. But yeah, so yeah, man. Like when I say when it comes to my father, I have nothing but love for him. I understand him. Like growing up, it's like you really have to when you're figuring things out as an adult, you really have to be like, I'm still a parent. Mm-hmm. And I wish me as a child had more dialogue with him versus waiting for him, because I didn't give him the grace of, because I know this happens, but I'm not sure if this happened with my father because I never asked this question. Being on the defense of, I don't know how this child is going to perceive me because you might think I wasn't there for you. So,
that probably was some of it too. That was probably some of it too.
So because
he just went through that same thing with Pam.
Right, yeah. and I didn't feel that way. So I know it feels like playing this little double dutch game of like I want to love you, but I don't know if you can start swinging on me verbally because it's like you weren't there for me. Why you never loved me or anything like that. And I was just kind of like, I'm here for the ride. I go to these little Shriner little meetings, mm-hmm. a little Cincinnati Reds games. You're a bonus. You're a bonus in my life. And I got a bonus family because I had mm-hmm. Rhonda. Mm-hmm. I had Jonelle and Jeanette mm-hmm. and mm-hmm. Joyce. So I had a slew of
family.
Right.
Yeah.
So I didn't have no regrets. I didn't. But when I grew up as an adult and started having children, I was like, oh man, my dad was just really trying to figure it out, man. Just really. Right. But the family gave me so much more comfort versus just him, because I had an abundance of family. Like
mother, you
right?
Come up with mother's house, my mother.
Believe it or not,
cousins.
I was when my father came in my life. Rhonda's family was heavy in my life, more.
Because you were around them more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because a lot of the events were with Rhonda's family. Mm-hmm. So that's, Jonelle became super cool.
You guys are the same age, I think. Yeah,
1 year older than me. We got super cool. And her siblings and Rhonda's siblings and their children. So, but then when I left and they got divorced, that's when my family my father's side of the family started to kind of kick in. So I got like a quick shift of several different families, and like I said, I have no regrets, man.
Because the next thing I knew, you were in high school, and because when I came to Dayton, I believe you were going to Colonel White.
Yep.
Yeah, because Larry was going to Belmont, and then he got kicked out of Belmont and had to go to Meadowdale. Mm-hmm. So I would see more of you then. Yep. Because you got to remember, we were in L.A. Mm-hmm. And so I think you were a sophomore when we came. We came in '97.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
I graduated 2000.
Yeah. So, or were you a freshman?
I think I came to Colonel White 96, 97.
Okay, yeah. Well, yeah. So this would have been at the end of your that school year. Yep. You were about to start sophomore. your next year.
Okay.
So we came in August.
Okay, gotcha. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, and so I remember more interactions with you during those years and after, because you were older, mm-hmm. you were an artist.
Yep.
I was so impressed by your artwork. Mm-hmm. I showed my mother, and Mama was like impressed with it, mm-hmm. and it was like, wow, we have all these talented artists.
Right.
And you guys were cartoonists. I saw your cartoons when you were younger.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, he's a lot like I am, because I used to do cartoons too. And then when you were in high school and you brought that one little art piece, it was like all detailed out. I think it was Jesus, but it was something.
It was Leonardo
Da Vinci or
Vinci,
DiCaprio. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, this guy is really. So I was impressed. That's when I started really, really paying attention to your talent. You know, because I was like, he's a real deal.
Yeah.
He's not playing.
Right.
And then you got into comedy. So I said, we have to support him.
Right, man.
And then you move out here.
Yep.
We definitely have to support him
buddy.
now. You know, so it's one of those things where you have made us proud. You have made us so proud of you. You know, all of us, even the ones who know you, but they don't really know you, like the Chicago family and the New Jersey family, you know, and the Mississippi family. You know, they know you, but they don't know you like I do.
Yeah.
But they know he's got talent.
Oh, man.
You know, so you have a lot of people that are there for you. All I'm saying is on this right here, we are so proud of my cousin Dion. We are so proud of you. I mean, really, we're proud. We might not be able to see everything you do.
Yep.
Because, you know, especially with the way Facebook work, you got to stay on there every second to see
the
next feed
trash.
and stuff, right? Because this just goes so fast, especially if you have like over 1,500 friends.
Right.
But everybody says the same thing. They all say the same thing. And I'm in contact with pretty much everybody. And they all say the same thing. How's Esco's son doing? The comedian. They all say that. The comedian. They might not remember your name.
Right.
But they, you know, the comedian. The one live out in California. You know.
That's the goal. I need my light to shine a little bit brighter. I know my grind needs to be better, and it's just like working out. It's like, you know, you're supposed to work out 5 times a week. You be like, oh gosh.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
I've been working out. I just ain't got to it yet.
I'm just talking about just the grind, because LA, once you find a niche of something, you start to gravitate towards that, and then once that kind of dies down, you try to go back to your path. Because it's like, so when it comes to comedy, you know, I came out here thanks to Duchess. I hooked up with Mad Marv. I don't know if you know who that guy is. He's a comedian. He was the one who kind of first took me around the LA scenes, and I don't know if you remember, but my very first year in LA, I got on Comic View.
Weren't you over on Washington Street at one time?
Yeah, Mixed Nuts.
Yeah.
So I got on Comic View.
Washington Boulevard. I said Washington Boulevard.
Right. And you get to a place you have to keep going. You have to keep going. But what happens is LA, life, and you start like, oh, I like writing. I like producing. I like directing. Throughout the years, you keep kind of zigzagging on career paths, even though you're good at all of them. If you stick to one of them and go full throttle into this path, once you get to a place of success with this one, the other ones is going to fall into place. And that's what happened, man. I was zigzagging way too much.
So where are you now? Are you with the writing?
I'm heavy in writing right now. Heavy in writing. I write for a lot of people. And then, because what happens is, if you have a mind like mine, you want to write, and then you want to show people this sketch or something. But when you write, he's like, oh, I got to shoot this. You got to know how to direct. And when you direct, you got to know how to edit. If other people are involved, you got to know how to write, direct, produce, cast, edit, and then post, and then market. So all this is included in this package. But throughout these years, I've learned how to do all these things. And then I've always put comedy on the back burner, which is not the greatest thing, because obviously comedy has gotten me here. But when these things start to die down financially, I was like, kind of go back to comedy. The thing when it comes to comedy, I've been so addicted to writing, I haven't strengthened my mindset of just being free as a comedian versus I need to say it exactly like this verbatim because it's going to sound perfect if I say it this way.
Well, what about the acting part?
It's I can't just say book me. I mean, I have an
but
agent.
but is that one of those
Yeah.
pursuits? Like you're pursuing this, and is it working simultaneously?
If I'm in my own project, yeah.
Okay.
I can cast myself. I have a lot of comedian friends that do the same exact thing, and they be like, "Hey, Dion, you want to be part of this project?" And it typically happens.
Good.
I've been in numerous friends' projects just without even being, auditioning. And most importantly, I can just put myself in my own projects. But when it comes to putting myself in my own projects, I have to have somebody who's willing to direct me and trusting their vision, trusting the person who is shooting me is looking great. I make sure I'm in the shot. Make sure my shot is in focus. Make sure my sound is good.
Which I understand that as a singer.
Yeah, make sure that sound is good, man. Because
make sure the lighting is on.
Yeah.
But the sound, the lighting, the direct, especially if you're being recorded,
right,
all of that stuff, whether it's audio or video, all that has to be perfect. It has to be well edited, like you said.
And if this sound doesn't sound great, you ruin the entire project.
Yeah, it's a waste.
Audio is 75% of any production. If you have a beautiful shot, but it's microphone, it's going to take you out the entire movie.
Dion, let me tell you, I have been recorded. I can't not even count how many times in the last, let's just say 2 years.
Yeah.
When I watch the end result, and some people really, really feel that they're doing a great job. But when you listen to the audio, and it's the same audio every time, you have to be hearing the same thing I'm hearing.
Right.
It's not where it should be. The standards, my standards are here.
Yeah.
And it's not even here.
Wow.
The shot might be clear, but the sound, it's like you're not getting a crisp sound. So with me as a performer, I like the venues where they have their own sound.
Yeah.
They have their own sound person.
Right.
And all the microphones are top notch.
Yes. Yes.
The videographer is their videographer. Everything turns out fine. But when you bring in different people in, you got this person, the videographer is totally different from the sound man and all that.
They're not synced. Yep.
They're not in sync.
Yep.
So,
I don't have the jack for your camera.
Right.
I don't have the input. Do you have a sister?
Yes.
We have the male. Which one do you got?
Right.
Yeah.
And then when lighting, that's a whole different thing. When you are an actor, or a comedian, and you're relying on those lights for the audience because you're doing either stand up or you're doing a production, that lighting is key. But when you're a singer, that type of a performer or an entertainer, and the lights are different. Sometimes they might be just one bright light on you, but if they're the colored lights that are changing, sometimes that can play a big part on the video also.
100%.
Because it's like, well, where the hell is he?
Right.
Or you're not really seeing, or the light is not even on you, it's on the drummer.
Yeah.
Okay, we can see him, but where are the singers?
And sometimes you be backlit, so now you're a silhouette from the camera.
That's the worst,
And
right
then,
there. Yeah.
And then a lot of times the cameras are so much like cell phone cameras, and they adjust accordingly to the light.
So the lighting in the room, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you want to sing? Or your voice good today? I don't know if you want to sing something.
Okay, well, here's the thing on
Oh,
that.
boy, here we
Here's
go.
the thing on that. Okay. So I had a very tight schedule the next 3 days.
Okay. Are you trying to save your voice?
Kind of like that.
Yeah.
Tonight, I'm supposed to be meeting up, and we're supposed to do some karaoke. That's later tonight. Tomorrow, I'm doing I was just told yesterday that I'm going to be singing at this dispensary grand opening on East 62nd Street tomorrow. So now I'm talking to one of my other friends, well, what song should I do? Then Sunday, there's another thing we're supposed to be doing at El Cholo's house.
Yeah.
We'll be there Sunday. And then my oldest first cousins on my father's side, he just invited me last night to something that he's having. He lives in Hemet.
Yeah.
Supposed to go out there and do. So
save your voice, man.
because I don't want to get up there, and they're pumping me up, y'all.
Yeah.
They're saying all these great things and this and that. And, and I'm very, very anal sometimes. You know,
Yeah.
I gotta make sure it's perfect.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and I'm my worst critic.
Right.
You know, and when I get up there, I'm like, ooh, I heard that. So it's like I'm kind of nervous. I'm nervous for the night.
Yeah.
I'm nervous, really nervous for tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And then over my cousin's house. I don't know what you want me to do.
No, I ain't if you had an original song. If you had a
No,
favorite
I don't
song,
do no originals. No.
If you had like a song, you can keep your voice low. Sorry, didn't notice you there. Keep it low so you got that strain in your voice. You know. You know what song I was singing?
No, but I want you to finish it.
It's Beauty by Drew Hill. You heard the song?
No.
Sorry, didn't notice you there. Then again, you didn't notice me. Until we make passes by. Until the next time we speak. You never heard the song?
No, I never heard that one. I remember I know they did. And I'll never make a promise that I can keep. That I can keep.
Yeah.
You told me where I love you. That's one of them baby making songs right there.
Yeah.
That was actually my favorite song.
Really?
I'm surprised I can't remember their words. That's my favorite song by them.
Wow.
That's my favorite Drew Hill song is I'll Never Make a Promise.
Yes, I know that song very
Yeah.
well.
And
I'm
then-
really disturbed that you know
Yeah.
Beauty, though.
Oh, yeah. You told me where I love you. I told you what I need. And I never make a promise.
Let me tell you, this is going to be upsetting. My daughter is 17, Grambling College University right now.
Praise God.
She told me, Dad, you ain't going to believe who they booked for Grambling's homecoming. I was like, who? She's like, Drew Hill. I was like, that's dope. She's like, my generation don't know who he is.
They're going to know who he is now.
I said, who he
Who
is?
they are.
She's like, you think Drew Hill is one person?
Yeah, who they are. Right.
And she was like, yeah. She thought like Drew, as in like the guy.
Andrew.
Drew.
Or
last
Drusilla.
name, Drew Hill. As in like, that's a great, perfect first last name.
Right.
I was like, no. I like Drew Hill, Cisco. Like, she knows Cisco is. So, because Cisco's my favorite artist.
Thong.
Yeah. So she's like, wait.
Couldn't stand that song.
She's like, wait. She was like, wait. Cisco was a part of
He was the
Drew
original
Hill.
part
I was
of
like,
that,
yes, he's
yeah.
the lead singer.
He's the lead singer.
And she was like, tell me another song. I was like, so I was going down the list. She was like,
We're not
okay.
making love.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
that song go?
Cause we're not making love no more. We're not even trying to change. I don't know the rest.
I'm trying to remember because I still have never make a promise in my break a promise in my head.
Yeah.
Drew Hill was one of my, when it comes down to music, I know we don't have much time left, but we never really talked about music.
Yeah.
And when it came down to music, they call me Soul Brother James, right? 'Cause I'm the soul man. I like that soul stuff, right? But my favorite era was the 70s and the 60s and then the 80s. But the 90s, the late 90s, has some songs.
Bangers.
I remember when I first came to Dayton, I'm like, who is that?
Yeah.
They had Blackstreet. They had Drew Hill, Rome.
Jodeci.
Jodeci. What's that guy name who was singing, what's the name of that song? Was it Rome? What's the name of that song Rome sang?
Belongs.
That's the one. I
To
belong to you, and you belong to me. I'm trying to get the melody, but that one. Then you had Missy Elliott. You had SWV.
How you feel about Case?
Case. Who the hell is that?
Standing here looking out the window. Not cause I miss it. Lights are gone.
What year did that come out?
I'm missing you. It's one guy.
What year did that come out?
I don't know, man. You were great with
Was
years.
it 90s or?
It has to be late 90s.
I don't remember that.
Golly.
I remember Faith. What's her name?
Faith Evans.
Yeah, Faith
Carl
Evans.
Thomas.
Carl.
Golly.
That name sounds familiar.
It was love at first sight.
I must have been still drinking.
I
when that song came out.
wish I never met her at all.
Sound kind of familiar.
Even though I let her so, and she got love for me. Sheesh.
She say sheesh?
No, I'm upset because
Oh, because I don't remember.
Shit.
Wow. Did you just say a cuss word?
I said shish.
Oh,
I was gonna say shit
you might
and
work on and
sheesh.
say it.
No, it was both. It was a combination
okay.
of shit and shish. Sheesh. And
there was a lot of good songs.
Yeah.
Though. Yeah, there was a lot of good songs that came out in the late 90s. I was really impressed. Avant, he did that one song, Separated.
yeah, and
what's
First Love.
What's his name? Pretty Boy. What was his name?
Genuine.
Genuine, but the other one too.
Usher.
Him too, but the other one.
Pretty Boy.
He did that baby making song. How does it feel?
Oh, D'Angelo.
There you go, D'Angelo.
Yeah.
Do, do,
Yeah.
do, do. Ah.
Girl, it's only you.
Girl, only you.
Yeah.
Have it your way. And if you want, you can decide. Give me the words.
Feeling your feelings, I will provide. And if you want,
that you desire.
give me the feeling.
Won't you come closer to me, baby? Yeah. And you already got me right where you want me, baby. I just wanna be your man. How does it feel? Yeah. How does it feel?
Oh, you went that way.
How
Yeah.
does it feel? How does it feel?
You know that build up? He's like, when the little build, he was like, there was dun, 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 ah! What is it like?
He's talking about something about taking your drawers off. I'm gonna take your drawers out.
Yeah, it's a little build up.
Yeah. Bottom line is, we like that song.
90s, baby.
D'Angelo, that was 2000 though, or 2001. That was 2000
yeah.
song right there.
Yeah,
but
buddy.
yeah, that was a bad. And he wasn't no pretty boy. He just had that pretty boy song.
He was naked. That was new.
That was one of them nude songs. I think I did one of them COVID videos and I had my shirt off and somebody said, "Put your shirt back on." I said, "Fuck you too." I have hair all over me. I had hair all up here and everything.
I'll do it in 2023. Same song. My little fake braids.
Yeah, but music has always been in our household, in our family. I know our grandmother, she played music all the time. When Uncle James and Aunt Ivy were married, they had all the records over there. We had all the records too. We were just a musical family. And Baby and them we used to compete with them to see who got the latest whatever was out, in the early 70s before we moved out west, out here. But, music has always been a part of us. We were a dancing family too. My mother taught me how to cha-cha. I learned how to cha-cha off A Stubborn Kind of Fella by Marvin Gaye. We were just a mother. She used to belly dance. Did you know that?
No.
Man, she was on the calendar, 1978 calendar, belly dancing at Courthouse Square.
Never knew that.
Yeah, and it was in the front page of the Dayton Daily News.
Wow.
Too. Yeah, them senior citizens was down there. But music has always been a part of who we are. Music brings us together. Music soothes us. Sometimes songs will bring back memories that might bring a tear to your eye, or whether it's a death or a marriage or a birth, or happy time, sad, whatever. Music, not just our family, music is universal. It's one of those things where it brings people together. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love music so much, because I love bringing people together.
I got a 2-part question. It's gonna be a quick left. All right. When you see somebody who has posted, "Rest in peace to so and so, so and so," right? This is a shock to you. This is news to you. Do you think it's rude to text or comment how they die?
Yes.
And
Yes,
how
I
do you ask?
Okay.
The most professional way.
This just happened to me. And I don't know if my friend is on
Watching this.
here or not, but if you hear this, then you probably know I'm talking about you. A classmate of mine passed away a couple of weeks ago. Her funeral was next week, and right here in Los Angeles. And we're in a group chat. It's like 8 of us. And when that came on, you know, my response was, "Oh my God, you know, my heart is broken." I think I might have said 3 different things, 3 different texts. Wow, she was a beautiful soul. Oh, and then, you know, and then there was one person said, "How did she die?"
That's always awkward.
And then somebody responded, "I don't know." And they said that the person was found in.
Oh, they actually,
They were found in their apartment, and then the person. We're all friends now. We all love each other. And my friend said, "Well, it was probably either a stroke or a heart attack." And my response was, "Let's not speculate." And I think, you know, it really doesn't matter. You know, this is
no
news.
longer here.
And then somebody else said, "Well, let's not share this on Facebook because we don't know if the sister knew about it yet." Well, it was too late. Somebody outside this text had already posted it on Facebook. So to answer your question, I don't think it's appropriate to ask on Facebook in that group setting where we're just 8 of us. Maybe that might be a better place to do it, but even with me personally, I still would not have asked that question because to me, it didn't matter how.
Right.
When they're ready to reveal that, they will let that be known.
Right.
So what was the second part of that?
And what is the nicest way to ask, or is it important?
I would say it's not important to ask immediately unless you're you and I'm me. And it was my sister.
Yeah.
You are my cousin.
Right.
You wouldn't be sending me no text.
Right.
You would be on the phone with me.
Yeah.
Calling. So if it's somebody that knows them that personally, you would be on the phone asking a sibling, a child, a parent, somebody like that.
Because it's always uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable.
When you hear "Rest in peace to my, cousin Frank." Oh my God, I know him. So I'm looking like I'm always like, how do I ask?
Do it privately.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it on Facebook.
Yeah,
of course.
if you know the person, do it privately.
But they're still grieving though. Why?
I wouldn't do it right then.
Right.
No, I would wait.
So it's always uncomfortable. Like when is you like it's like a jumping jack.
Okay,
like
for me, I would say it would probably be best to wait until after the service is over. They've gone through all that because it's a grieving process they have to go through. No one wants to be asking a whole bunch of damn questions, with a sister, daughter, mother, father, brother, whoever it is. They won't be answering that question about their loved one, 2 days later, 5 days later, 7 days later. No, let some time go by. And if you guys are that close, you can wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks, something. But I wouldn't be asking right away.
Just wait. Just
what time is it?
No, somebody just texted me.
Oh.
Yeah, we can wrap it up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go over. Is that clock right there?
No, that's just the time is running. So yeah, we can wrap it up. It's 4:33.
Oh, okay.
So, well, ladies and gentlemen,
this is my favorite little cousin, y'all.
Hey,
But don't tell Ryan.
Don't tell Ryan.
That's an inside joke.
He
He'll
always
explain
does
it to you.
He does it to all his cousins. Don't act like that. He does it to all the cousins.
No, I don't.
He said so.
No, I don't now.
Just slow down.
Right. Oh, Jack.
So again, thank you so much for coming into town. I mean, it's not just for this, but to actually having this one-on-one. with me. And, you know, I'm always intrigued by your mind and our history. And I've told you for years, I would love to just kind of like piece things together and actually put a family tree of as many pieces together.
We're going to do that. Next time I'm here,
has to.
We're going to do that. Even if I have to jot a few little things down next week, one day, maybe next week we can get together.
Right.
Probably go out to lunch or something.
Yeah,
you
that'd
know,
be beautiful, man.
Figure how your schedule is.
And just see this map of our family and just tie grandkids and children and
all that.
Everybody as much as we can. And then, you know, if it's some sort of fuzziness of some people, just like, hey, this is the website or this is the thing.
This is the contact person.
Help us out to piece who we missing. Because we need this, man. Everybody needs this. Every family needs to have that sort of family tree to tie things together.
We really do. Yes.
But with that being said, thank y'all for watching. If you made it this far, I'm Dion Lack.
He gonna edit some of this though. It ain't gonna be this long.
Shit.
What you say? Shit.
This is out.
This is out.
This is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's my cousin.
First cousin.
Favorite first cousin.
Oh wow.
Don't tell Duchess.
What the fuck?
I mean, I had to get.
So that's how you and Ryan feel when I say that. Oh, it hurts. It hurts.
Don't tell Duchess.
Don't tell Duchess.
And we out, man. Thank y'all for watching.
Like,
subscribe, comment below. Tell us your favorite part of this particular podcast, and we will post and stuff, all that. All right, y'all. Bye.
You crazy, cuz.